Alright, if you haven't watched my other videos, go ahead and do so. This video is going to be a little bit longer, and we're actually just going to go through the app a little bit and do some styling to it, and maybe clean it up a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer. And so it's probably going to be a longer video. You may not need to watch the entire thing, but you may find some helpful tips for styling and for creating a user interface for your users. If you have enjoyed these videos so far in this playlist, please like and subscribe below. And we're going to kick this off. So let's go ahead and get our Android device running. Let's do yard Android. Okay, and then I'm going to minimize all of our Django stuff here. Okay. So we're going to start with the landing page. And then we are going to open all of our styling. That didn't work. Okay. We're going to open all of our styling script files. Let's see here. Let's clean this up a little bit. Whoa. There we go. Getting somewhere. I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. That's not looking alright. Oh, I see. Okay. So we don't have our Django server running, and so we're going to miss some of the styling there. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to set all the defaults within the ReactNative app, and then later we will update the Django database. So that way when the app loads, it's all up to date. But for now, just for the sake of getting it figured out and kind of getting the styling taken care of, we're going to kind of code everything in. And so let's go ahead and start with just a background. So really quick, we're going to pick out a, let's see, it's color hex. We're going to pick out a palette to use for this app. Let's go to popular palettes. This is one of my favorite sites for like palettes and colors and all of that. And for this application, let's go with, scroll around here a little bit. Let's go with the Hufflepuff. It's got a fun name to it. It's got some golds and some kind of brownish grays and blacks. And so we're going to choose this as our palette. So we're going to go ahead and keep this window open. And kind of move it over here a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the primary background color. Let's see what it looks like with the off black color. So let's see, background color. Save. Okay, yeah, that looks decent. And then I'm going to set our big headers. Let's try this color for our fonts. So H1. Okay, that looks good. And then let's try this color for our paragraph and labels here. Okay, that works decent enough. And then let's see. So if we go to the login page, that's what it looks like. Okay, so we still have that gray color, so that's going to be under containers, and we want to choose this one right here because it's in the palette. So let's see, form box, there we go, and there we go. So we kind of have our theme here. It's kind of some brownish grays or some dark browns and some golds in there. We still have some white in there, which isn't terrible. The login button, we can actually make this gold color. So let's go to our buttons, and background color is going to be that. Okay, so we're kind of matching things together. And then the login text, let's see, that's going to be under here, and that's going to be, well, let's see, fonts, button, text. I'm going to add in a style here really quick. Color is going to be, yeah, let's stick with the black for now. And actually, let's try this slightly dark brown. Let's try that color. And then in order to see that, we'll open up our login and register pages. We're on the login page right now, so we'll set it to here first. But we are going to do, let's see, fonts on our button. So fonts dot button text. Save that. And I don't know if we'll notice much of a difference with it, simply because it's not much different than a black, especially with the contrast there. But we're going to go ahead and do that on the register page as well. And we're going to go ahead and change on the landing page here for both buttons. That one we'll have to create an array. Okay, save that. So this is kind of our font, or our theme. You see lots of golds. Login, we've got that. Register, we have that. So we've got our fields, we've got our register. Now, the white works somewhat. It's not ideal. Kind of wish they had another lighter gray in this palette that we could use. But I think this will work okay for now. Yeah. Alright, so let's work on the landing page here. It obviously doesn't look very good. It's very unclear of what this app is. What are we doing with this app? So the first thing, these buttons are at, I think, 100%. Let's take a look here. Login button. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a container here. So view style equals, and we'll fill that in a second. I'm going to put our buttons inside of that container. And view. And we're just going to copy and paste containers. Let's set this as our landing button container. Save that. And let's go to our containers and create that. Landing button container. And we're going to set a width of 60%. And a padding of 6% and a margin of 0. Save that. Alright, so we've got our buttons a little bit more concise, a little bit more clean. We can maybe make that a little bit wider. I actually like the 60 better. So, and then also we can obviously get rid of the "you're not logged in," because obviously the user knows that. They're seeing the login and sign up buttons. So hello user. And then login, register. Super clean, super simple. You could go more complex if you want, but I'm okay with where this is at. Now, if you look at the style, we don't have that inner container, and in here we do. And I actually prefer the look of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off that secondary color for the container. So we're going to take this off. And it looks like that now, which isn't great, but we're not done with it yet. Okay, so we're kind of aiming, this is kind of the scheme that we want to go with right here. This is the look, the simplicity, the cleanliness. Everything's just really concise and clean. So first thing is we're going to get rid of the all caps for the login. And we're going to kind of, let's see, login page. Okay, let's just try it with the normal, just login. It still doesn't look great. So one thing that we can do is try changing the font, or we could try making that font bigger. But it is our H1 font, and we want to kind of keep things consistent. One thing you'll notice is the margin here is slightly different, so that could have an effect. One thing we could also try is doing login with an exclamation mark, kind of match the feel of the first page. But again, still doesn't look amazing. You try using sign in instead. Okay, I actually like that. It's a little bit cleaner. It's got some of the rounded letters in it. It's not so boxy and square. It's clean and concise. So let's stick with that. And then right here, I believe is where we're getting a lot of that extra space. So let's take this off and just see what it looks like without that. Yeah, see how it brings it up. So what we're going to do, this is just our error. So we really only need to see this when we actually have an error. So what we're going to do, error and question mark. So if there's an error, we're going to display it. Otherwise, we're going to just not display anything. So there's nothing. If I try to log in, okay, nothing. Here, log in. Okay, still got nothing though. I should at the very least. Oh, let's see. It's because it's catching an error. Let's copy this down here. Set an error. Now, there we go. Invalid credentials. You'll notice that the font color for that does not fit our scheme, and so we're gonna see it's the fonts, and we're going to change the color to match these ones. Actually, yeah, this one. And that's going to be this, let's see, error label, color white. There we go. Alright, so now it matches our scheme of fonts and everything. Another thing is I don't like the boxiness of these input boxes. And so we're going to go to inputs. We're going to style this a little bit. So we're going to set a border radius. Let's try 5 for now. And just see. Okay, it's a little bit of a border. Let's try a 15, which should be a full. Okay, not loving the feel of that one right there. Let's see what a 7 looks like. We can go back to a 5. It's still a little bit boxy, but it's got that curves, kind of softens it up a little bit. And let's actually make this screen a little bit bigger here. There we go. So we can look at it a little bit clearer. So email address, password, the login button, invalid credentials, and then clear those out. So now we have our hello user, our login, and then we just gotta clean up our register page, which is almost there actually. So a lot of our changes are affecting this as well. So I'm trying to think through some of this. Doesn't look terrible. What if, let me think this through. Let's try setting the inputs as that lighter color right here. Let's try that for our inputs. Okay, it's a little bit cleaner. And then we will change the color of that to our input label. So we're just going to change that to input. Or actually, let's see. Input text. And then we'll just copy this right there. Except that's the dark gray. We actually want the gold color. Okay. And then in our login page, let's see. We've got text input. Style. Okay, so we're going to copy fonts, and over here under style we're going to create an array here so we can use multiple styles. We're going to paste that so we have input text now, and I'm just going to copy, actually I'm just going to copy this entire thing. It's going to make it quicker to replace. So style there, save. Let's see what that looks like. And okay, so we have gold input. I'm not liking the gold input actually. So what would it look like if that was just black? Let's go to fonts, set this as black. Okay. It could be considered hard to read by some. It is a little bit dark, however, it fits the theme a lot better. Let's try one last thing. Let's just try white. Let's see if that white, yeah, the white just does not work. So I think we're going to stick with black for that. And so let's see. Now register page, we're going to set all these styles here with what we copied from the login page. And once you get to the point where you have a bunch of inputs all with like similar, you're copy and pasting, you can end up creating, what we'll probably do eventually is create our own input class and then import that, and that'll just have that in there. So we're not copy and pasting that 7 times. But we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, so let's go back and let's take a look at the register page now. So everything's kind of crammed together. We want to put some margins in there. Other than that, it looks good. So register page, I know 10% was too much, so let's try to add a top 5%. Oops. I know I'm kind of changing it up here. Alright, 5%. And that was in our register page. So we're going to do margins.top 5%. And we're going to copy that for each of these. Save that. Alright, space it out a little bit. We got to do the same thing right here with the error label. So we're going to go to our login page and just copy this guy right here. Exact same. Alright, that brought it up a little bit. Now you'll notice that this is still kind of further down. And so my guess is it's the container. So we still have this container. My guess is that container is somewhere like here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make that container just a little bit taller, 70% maybe, and that'll help center things back up. The reason why is it makes it taller and that is all centered. Let's see, login. I brought that up a bit. Is that we should be setting justify content to center. That should center it in that box. I did bring it down quite a ways though. Let's set a border really quick and just see where the outline of this is. With one border color of white. Okay, so there's our form box. That's what we're looking at. And let's see, 60% might have actually fit it, and it does. So there's a weird thing going on with justify content. Let's go to our register page. Oh, there it is. Take that off. And now we are centered, and probably have the same thing. Yep, margins top 30%. Take that off. And now in our containers, we can take off that border. And now we have a centered form. And in login, we have a centered form. Okay, so that's kind of the theme of our app right there. In just a little bit of time, we've created a whole new application just about. Alright, so now one thing I want to add in here is if you notice when we try to click password, like the keyboard will hide that text input. You can't see it. You can't click away. You have to click the little dumb return. So we're going to fix that. And ReactNative actually has a tool, or I guess a plugin or component called keyboard avoiding view. So we're going to implement that. So we're going to do keyboard avoiding view, and this is going to be the content container style. And then we're just going to close off as well. And I haven't actually used this one before, so let's see how well it does. And it does not seem to work properly at the moment. Let's take a look here. Okay, maybe we will try just style then. See if that, oh, and that did it. And let's see if it works. So password, and it does not seem to work properly right at the moment. It looks like, let's add in one more thing. So behavior, it's just off their website here. Platform.os equals iOS. Then we are going to do padding, otherwise height. And let's make sure we are bringing in platform. Okay, so doing something funky here. Yeah, so that is doing something real funky. Alright, so now we've got our keyboard aware view. We have a style, which is just our outer page. We already created it. Content container style, and that is our dimensions.get height, get width, and then centering everything. And then we have our behavior. For iOS, it's going to use padding, and for Android, it's going to use height. And this is what it looks like at the moment. So if we go back, we're going to register, looks like normal. Click on password, it scrolls everything up out of the way, and then we can click away. Now, one thing you need to know is I can't click away. Clicking over here doesn't get rid of the keyboard. So we're going to add one more object here, and that's going to be touchable without feedback. And right underneath keyboard aware view, we're going to add that. So touchable, without feedback. And on press equals keyboard. Let's put it into brackets. Keyboard dot dismiss. And then we will close that off down here. Touchable without feedback. And then we will also need to import keyboard here. So let's just take a look and see if this works. I forgot to close that off. Alright, so click on password, we can type stuff in, and then click away. Oh, and that did not. Oh, maybe it did. Okay, so you have to click inside of the view. So what if, let's move this outside of the keyboard aware and just see if this will even work. Okay, click away. Oh, there it is. So I can click anywhere on the screen now, and it hides the keyboard, and it gets our stuff out of the way so we can fill out the entire form with the keyboard open. So now we're going to copy and paste all this over to our login form. Let's see, we're going to get rid of that. And then copy the closing tags. It's just going to be this one. And then get rid of that space. And then we'll copy the imports right there. Save that. Okay. And we probably won't be able to see it much on the login. Oh, can't find variable. Oh yeah, forgot one. Keyboard avoiding view. Save that. All right. Because the screen is large enough, the formatting is correct. It's okay. So it does actually do it. So it does get it out of the way. So we're okay there. And now that is all kind of configured well. So that's kind of the theme. That's the style for this app. Still trying to decide on what to add in the functionality for when a user exists. I think we're going to go into the product line side of things. And so we'll use Django to store products, and we'll display them when a user logs in. So stay tuned. We'll create some more videos soon for that. But for now, this is a good looking UI.